It literally takes a 12-year-old to understand the hardest math problem in history. First, we need to go back to ancient Greece, where our man Pythagoras was the first person to prove that for any right-angled triangle, the square of its long side is equal to the sum of the squares of its short sides, what you know as Pythagoras' theorem. Now, Pythagoras had a cult following who believed in the divinity of numbers. You see, they thought everything in nature, the gods themselves, could be represented in these beautiful, elegant relationships between two whole numbers. But it was actually one of Pythagoras' disciples who discovered something peculiar. You see, plugging in certain numbers into the equation gave a result that wasn't elegant. In fact, it could not be represented as a relationship between two numbers, what we call an irrational number. And so when he showed the proof to Pythagoras and his school, he was executed. Mans was murdered. But the Pythagoreans did notice that for certain numbers, plugging them in did give you these clean whole number solutions to the equation. And a little later on, Euclid proved that there were actually infinitely many whole number solutions to Pythagoras' theorem. Now let's fast forward a bit to the 17th century Frenchman Pierre de Fermat. Now, playing around with Pythagoras' equation, he wanted to see what would happen if he swapped the 2's for 3's, and maybe the 3's for 4's, or 4's for 5, or any number for that matter. So while Pythagoras' theorem has infinitely many whole number solutions, Fermat set out to see how many whole number solutions there would be when n is greater than 2. Now, he didn't find infinitely many. In fact, he couldn't even find one. Fermat realized that there must exist no whole number solution to the equation, and that's what we call Fermat's last theorem. Now, after coming up with a genius proof, he wrote on the paper, "I have a truly marvelous proof of this proposition that this margin is too narrow to contain." Now, Fermat died and his proof was never discovered. It took 350 years of an absolute mathematical odyssey of death, deceit, trickery, human spirit, ingenuity, until a mathematician named Andrew Wiles solved it in absolute secrecy in 1995. To solve Fermat's last theorem, Wiles had used state-of-the-art mathematics, which brings into question, did Fermat really solve his own theorem? It's a truly marvelous history that this video is too short to contain, but I do recommend reading Simon Singh's book on Fermat's last theorem. Now, this isn't a paid promotion, I just really love the book, and it inspired the last 2 videos that I've done. It opened up a new perspective of mathematics for me, so you can just find it in the link of my bio or something. Anyway, on that note, get the fuck off your phone.